for the last 6 months. You and I have had so many different things going on. Our friends have moved across in different parts of the city as far as different radio stations and even in TV. Our good friend Carolyn Long decided to retire.
Oh, how dare she? After, 30 years practically?
It's the Post Show with Mike and Mackenzie. You're welcome, America.
And so now, say hi to Lauren.
Hello.
Lauren, how are you doing? Are you glad to be in Kansas City?
I'm very glad to be in Kansas City, and I'm doing well. I'm enjoying it so far. I've been here since February. I got some time to overlap with Carolyn as we talk about her retiring and packing up and leaving, and it's been awesome so far.
Now, Miami was home before?
Miami was home. Yeah, that was home. That was home, and then I went to the University of Missouri. So I'm pretty familiar with Columbia. I would visit KC every so often. Quick little weekend trips. And then
Does CJ still run out of wings in Columbia?
Oh my gosh, not the specifics. I barely went there. God. You know what's crazy? That's so crazy. I know. So
Next
I can find out.
There.
She was busy going to class.
I will investigate and figure out what is happening. I will have to see. But yeah, after that, I went to Chicago, I went to Atlanta, and now I am here. So, business, it keeps you busy and moving. And
parking is way cheaper here than it is anywhere else.
Oh my goodness. It is great except I'm learning River Market.
That's a tricky one.
Ooh, yeah. I'm like, maybe I'll just Uber to that area.
I think they want you to. I think that's part of the plan, too, with the streetcar and all of that.
Listen, I'm here for walking to where we need to go and all that. I get it. But yeah, no, it's definitely, you can step outside and not spend money immediately.
So if you're watching this right now, yes, she does look very familiar. KCTV5. And which newscast are you officially anchoring now?
So I'm doing the 5, the 6, and the 10, and then Brad Stevens and I, we rotate on our all-weather show. So the first 1-5 weather show. So the evenings we're really booked and busy, and it's awesome. I co-anchor with Brad, and I also co-anchor with Zach Summers. So it's been awesome to work with him.
Has Luke with a K explained to you the seasons of the Midwest?
So he has, and on that first 1-5 weather show, honestly, I feel like a little bit of a nerd because I learn something new every single time that I'm in that show.
We do too.
And Luke is part of that. But like I said, I was at Mizzou. So Columbia, Missouri, I got 4 years of full-on just chaos. Learning how to drive in the snow, how to scrape the whole nine. It was an experience.
She's taken cover in a tornado.
This
isn't all
the shelter, all of the things. I told this one story one time.
This is why we love the podcast, Mackenzie, because people feel very comfortable here.
Yeah. So, and you're gonna be like, okay, great story. I remember my first spring in Columbia, and I was like, gosh, the trees, they're pink and they're purple. I had never seen ever.
Yeah.
Because when you're in Florida, and especially in Miami, where it's like palm trees and everything's lush and everything's green all the time.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was incredible. This is my first spring.
I was in San Diego for about 10 years, and I always thought holidays were really weird during like the holiday of Christmas because there's no snow.
Right.
It's nice outside. You know. Is that the same way in Miami?
Basically, we would have cold fronts, and maybe in the morning it'd be 60 degrees, wow, chilly, but so it was definitely, and now after experiencing a couple of white Christmases, it doesn't always happen now, which is kind of wild to think about, especially in Chicago. Now it feels weird. Now it does. If I go back and I'm like, the temperature is not, this is like weird. So it's kind of crazy how
I feel like Kansas City's going to be a better balance between Atlanta and Chicago. And now you're here. It's a happier kind of
I'm finding my
medium.
balance, okay?
Yeah,
we're here for balance.
It's a little more zen.
Yeah.
So one thing about when you get to Kansas City, everybody has their opinion on what you need to go do and all this stuff. What are you so sick of people telling you to go do?
Ooh, I'm not sick of any. Honestly, I think people just want to know what barbecue I like. That's like the big question.
See, that's always the question people ask.
Yeah, and I was explaining. I'm like, I haven't finished. Like, there's a long list.
I haven't finished, and I've been here a minute.
So I'm like, are we set up to fail? I don't know. And then whatever answer you give, everybody's going to have their opinion. So I think that's a big thing that has come up. But as far as like things to do, I love music, and so a lot of people have been like, well, you need to go to XYZ jazz clubs or these venues, and I've been digging into that. I went to the Phoenix, and I went to.
Have you been in the basement of the Green Lady Lounge?
I have not yet.
Holy smokes!
Which I know I'm
that's an experience.
Love.
Yeah,
I already know.
There's something about you walk in and you're instantly transported back into at least 74. The shag carpet, all the red.
There's shag carpet in there.
And it's on the walls too.
Yeah, Mike's very invested.
There was this fantastic like lounge lizard band on stage one night. They were just. It's an experience.
It's a whole vibe. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, let's test her here.
Oh, no. Okay.
Remember when we had a John in from Three Halves?
Yeah.
So there's a barbecue spot up north in Liberty, and we had John the owner in. And he used a term with us that we were like, we've never heard that before, but it made all the sense in the world. Mackenzie?
Meat marshmallows.
Meat marshmallows, Lauren.
What would that meat marshmallows.
Have you ever heard of meat marshmallows?
In the barbecue space.
Now, don't feel bad because we've never heard
about this.
I had never heard
what
of it
is
either.
this?
If you had to guess, just take a guess.
Marshmallows?
A meat marshmallow. What kind of barbecue would that be?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's I guess some pillowy, very tender.
She's got it.
Okay,
She doesn't
you're
have the
on the
name.
right
She's
track.
got it.
Okay, so would ribs fall into that?
I feel like it's not going to be on the bone. It's
Okay,
gonna
good.
Be, it's going to be its own isolated little.
Right? Would it be brisket?
Is it? Well, I was going to ask if it was pork.
It could not.
It could
be. It could be.
It can be.
Oh.
We'll give you. It's 2 words.
Okay.
It's 2 words. The second word is ends.
Oh, okay, burn ends.
There you go.
Yeah.
People call that meat.
Isn't that
Well,
crazy?
he
Marshmallows.
does. It's the first time I'd ever heard it.
Interesting.
I think it's great.
We had never heard it. And he says, yeah, we do these things. They're little meat marshmallows. And we were both like, huh?
Like, tell me
what?
more about the meat marshmallows.
Yeah.
Where can I get these?
So
meat marshmallows.
burn ends.
Yeah. So you're a music lover.
Yeah.
One thing you're going to need to know here is that the amphitheater will always be sandstone.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Okay.
They'll call it other things, but
that's what it is.
that's
Correct.
the old school.
Okay.
Now, right now, Lauren, do you know which state you're in? I asked this not to find out, but do you know which state you're in?
I did not pay attention when I. Tell me we are still in Kansas.
Yes,
we are in Kansas.
We are in
We
Kansas.
are in Kansas.
Okay.
We are in
great.
Kansas.
All right.
If you go see a show down at the Midland downtown, Lauren, which state would you be in? Missouri or
That's
Kansas?
Missouri.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's Missouri.
When you go into the studio right there on Shawnee Mission Parkway, are you in Kansas or Missouri?
That is Kansas.
Oh, you are.
Sure
if
is.
you're on the plaza, Lauren, where are you at? Missouri.
Missouri.
Kansas? Nice. She's got this.
She's got it covered.
Now,
Okay.
don't ask me to get somewhere without the GPS,
Right.
but
But
Well,
you're
don't
learning.
ask me to
I'm
do that
learning.
either.
You're
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
There's something funny. We asked that question because it was Ed Sheeran, right? We've told this. I'm pretty sure it was Ed Sheeran. And he's at the Midland Theater, and there's a sign as you walk in the Midland Theater.
Oh, backstage.
Yeah, you walk out backstage, and it says, "You are now entering Kansas City, Missouri."
Oh.
Because that's
People mess it up all the time.
It's a thing here. Everybody
Yeah.
will walk out on stage at the amphitheater and go, "What's up, Kansas City, Missouri?" Nope, you're in Kansas.
Oh my
You know?
goodness.
Or they just say, "What's up, Kansas?"
They say Kansas,
Right.
and that's not good.
And that's
I
not-
had a flight from Iceland Air once. We had a direct flight to Reykjavik.
Oh wow.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Lauren, spell Reykjavik.
No
Don't
one
ask
has to
me.
spell it.
Don't
There's a
ask.
J
He's gonna be
in
like,
there.
"There's need to pull up a map at some point.
ridiculous.
Name 10 countries."
So we're flying, Reykjavik to KCI, and we're landing, and it is Iceland Air, and they are Icelandic.
Right.
In their defense, welcome to Kansas. I was like,
Sweet.
Oh my
fantastic.
goodness,
dude, you just flew me here.
Yep.
You got the state wrong.
And what that airline here? They had only been here 3 or 4 weeks. They was brand new, weren't they?
Yeah, it wasn't very long, and sadly, we only had them about 3 years.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Oh, then that was it.
We
They
could
couldn't
get
get it
him.
right, so they said we got to go.
that's it. Yeah,
That
they're
was
like,
the reason.
Kansas. What?
What do you think of our new airport?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this was an experience because I do remember the old airport.
Right.
Yep.
And when I came back to actually do the station visit, I was like, where am I?
Right.
Yeah.
Did I land in the wrong
Yeah.
place?
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's I know that there was some debate over whether or not there needed to be a change. But I mean, I thought how it's turned out is great. So, but I was stunned. I really was not expecting that at all. I had no idea that it had been.
And I feel like now the bugs are worked out. It was funny.
Well, they're
when
always gonna
when
be
it first
bugs.
opened, like nobody could figure out the pickup
The
lanes.
pickup
and-
thing was
Oh.
a mess,
Disaster.
but I think that's a lot better
Yeah.
now.
Well, we haven't heard,
mean-
that's just it. We haven't heard any of those negative connotations.
It was smooth sailing for me when I
mean,
came in and out, and
You
that
got the
was
World
it.
Cup next year. All the
Big,
stuff that's been
big
going on.
events.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot happening.
I mean, when we had the draft here, I think that was one of the smoothest like events I think I've ever seen with that many people here.
Right.
All downtown. And then we've had...
I mean, how does it feel for y'all? Because you've been here and there's been such growth. I mean, even in the past 10 years.
Oh, yeah. It's a very different kind of city.
When I left for San Diego in 2007, and the T-Mobile Center was a big hole in the ground. They were just building it. And I got back in 2015, and I thought, oh, my gosh, the whole city down there
The power and light thing was brand new.
And then it just kept changing. Yeah. And used to, like, this city now goes north, like by the airport, all the way out south, 250th now. And that seems not far. But before... that seemed like an eternity.
Right.
It's just this city is growing leaps and bounds. And I think because, I mean, it's such a great, affordable city still. And you can be anywhere in 3 hours.
You can still get, and that's the other nice thing. If you fly out of KCI,
right.
You're there.
There it is.
You're pretty close to everything.
Pretty convenient.
What's the one, so if you had to ask, let's say you had a tour guide for Kansas City. There's something you really want to know about Kansas City, but you're afraid to ask. What would that be?
I mean, not to sound basic, but food is always going to be first and foremost.
Yeah.
Outside of barbecue, okay? Yeah. Like, I respect the barbecue, but also,
Notice how she's very adamant not to upset anyone.
I'm not. But yeah, because I'm sure there's some places, different cuisines. So I would say that any list that anybody's got, I'm here for it.
Okay.
And then... I don't know. I would say a lot of the art stuff. I mean, I think that's a scene that I'm trying to dig into more. And now, that we are in a place where I have my set shows and schedule and stuff like that. I'm figuring out my times. I can breathe again and
you're
begin
unpacked, you're settled.
Yes, exactly. Explore all of that.
So you have to hit up Baba's Pantry.
What's that?
It's in Brookside.
Yeah.
Is it Brookside or right on the edge of Brookside on 63rd?
See, Mackenzie knows the art scene left and right.
I love that. It's been written up nationally. And it's just a little hole in the wall. And Baba does the cooking.
Baba.
And his family's there. And their social media, and I'm not a good visual person. Their social media, I'm like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, you have to go to Baba's Pantry. And then there's
Wait, speaking of which, what's the trick in filming food?
We talk about that.
Good night.
And hiring a professional food photographer.
It's an art.
It totally
sure is. Because if you don't think it is,
And
go look at some of
it starts with the plating, right? I mean, it starts with whoever made that food and how they plated, and then the lighting. I mean, I don't do that. I just eat it.
Because you can have the same piece of food or whatever it is, and you have one person saying it looks awful. And the other person's like, oh my gosh, that looks so awesome.
Makes a huge difference if you're photographing it.
Yeah.
But we've got the Taco Trail app.
What?
And that's a fun deal. App. Yeah, there's an app where you can, the Kansas City Taco Trail, where you,
I didn't know about that.
Here, stop at this place. You can. Yeah, all different places that you can try.
What about
that's a fun one.
What about wineries and distilleries? Have you checked any of those?
I have not, but I'm here for that as well.
Well, Mike would like to tell you,
and there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of breweries here, especially North Kansas City.
I knew he was gonna go there.
Golly, I mean, of course, Boulevard's downtown.
Right,
Boulevard. The
you
Roastery
can't go wrong
for coffee. I mean, there's so many great places here.
Coffee?
So the Roastery is downtown.
Roastery, yes. Okay.
There's also Parisi. It's got great coffee. That's just artisan coffee. That's so good.
What's the gin place? I'm completely flaking on the name.
Rieger's.
Yes. You have to go to Jay Rieger's.
Okay.
Just the building alone.
It's like an experience.
Here's the thing about Rieger's. So you said you're a music girl.
Yeah.
It's right across from Knuckleheads. So, you can't go wrong with music at Knuckleheads and then in Rieger's.
Pop over.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So how long has Lauren been in TV?
7 years.
Okay.
7 years.
Was this your thing? You came out of college and everything else knowing I want to be on TV. This is what I want to do.
So this is tied to why I ended up in Mizzou. Because when I went, they were like, why did you come from Miami?
I was going to say, it's a leap.
Yeah, it's a jump. And I just grew up loving to read. I loved talking to people. I was called a chatterbox and just very inquisitive. And when you think about just your skill set and what it is that you do that brings you the most joy, it felt like journalism would be a path that would allow me to flex all those muscles.
Sure.
And so, as a high school student does, I just Googled top 10 journalism schools.
Sure.
There you go.
And at that time, it was the University of Missouri. And so that I said, okay, well, I need to visit here. I would love to see what this is all about. And I actually came, it was still winter. There were no leaves on the trees. It was very bare. It was, I'm, again, from Miami.
Right.
I come with my mom. My mom and I were walking around and she's like, well, first of all, we get to the Columbia airport, which is teeny
which
tiny.
exists. Which
I was going to say, they have an airport.
They have an airport.
Good to know.
And she was like, "Wait, where have I brought you?" Like,
Right.
you know, whatever. But I fell in love, and so did she. And so that's what brought me to Mizzou, and just being in the program. The interesting thing was, I was like, if I don't want to do this, they have a vet program, and there aren't a lot of veterinary schools and
Right.
programs, and so they also had that, and said, well, maybe I'll switch to that if I don't want to do journalism. And I never felt the urge to switch at all. I really just dove in and fell in love with it, and it was awesome. So, yeah, I think it was more so coming from a place of, like, yes, I grew up watching certain shows and can think of certain journalists that I remember growing up watching and feeling inspired by the way that they navigated their media spaces. But really and truly, it was how I would interact with people and feeling like I know there's something here, so let me go off of that. Yeah. And the rest has been history, and I haven't looked back. So
let me guess. Lauren I am your second grade teacher. A delight to have in class. And she's so intelligent. And she needs to spend less time talking to her neighbor.
It's pretty,
Am I right?
spot on.
That was
pretty
mine.
good.
That's what mine always, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, they just give me more. They'd be like, here's more books. Just read, please.
Yeah, please keep reading.
You know, extra homework. Yeah, one of those.
When a few cities come up on the teleprompter with TV, when you see the words Lee's Summit, how do you pronounce that on the air?
Lee Summit.
Nice.
She's got it.
I'm trying to think. See, this is go ahead. Go ahead.
What about when Excelsior Springs comes up? How do you pronounce that?
Excelsior Springs? I don't. That's how I kind of go with it. So tell me.
Technically, it's Excelsior.
Excelsior.
Well, that's what the locals.
Yeah, that's
okay.
What, it's
It's spelled
Excelsior.
Excelsior.
It's like one of those
Excelsior.
nuanced things.
Yeah.
I would think that would be so hard. I did started my career in Des Moines
Yes.
and doing
Desmonies.
and doing small town radio.
Yes.
And it's Madrid, Iowa, and I got phone calls.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, it was horrifying when you mispronounce something like that. I'm like, how was I supposed to
know?
M-A, it's Madrid.
Right. Like, that's just what I see.
I didn't get a checklist of how to pronounce this stuff.
It is a learning curve. It is a learning curve.
Yeah.
It is.
He just gave me a paper.
I did. I gave him
know.
paper to pen. Now,
What are you doing?
write down these 6 letters,
Oh,
Lauren, in
no.
this order.
I'm so scared.
A letter O,
Okay.
L,
Uh-huh.
A,
Oh.
T, H, E.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is always
She's
funny.
got this.
Ready?
How do you pronounce that on TV?
Olathe.
Nailed
Yes.
it. She's got our vote, Mackenzie. I
No,
think she's good to go.
I think she's
did learn that.
She's going to be great.
It's really funny when you do hear, like in radio, if they ever bring new people in, it's always Olath.
Yeah, or a commercial that was recorded out of town. Quivera. What?
Oh, right.
There, yeah, Quiver.
I've heard Quivera
On a commercial.
before.
There
my
was
goodness.
I had heard one lady that had she had done something for the Johnson County Home Show, and she was on the radio, and it must have just been written on a piece of paper or something.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, I'm walking down the hallway one day, and I hear the Jocko Home Show, and I'm like, no. It's the Johnson County Home Show. So,
Oh my gosh.
I guess with any city, there's just certain
Of course there
nuances
are.
there.
Yeah.
Here, I don't even know if I've spelled this right, but here you go, another one.
Okay.
Capital P, F, L-U-M.
Is that how it's spelled?
I don't think so now that I'm
I don't
reading
think
this.
so
to her.
either.
See, I thought you were going to give me Platte County or
No,
something, and I
Platte
was
County's
like,
an
I
easy
don't
one.
know.
Mackenzie, can you look up that word to make sure I've spelled it right?
P-F-F-L.
I think there's only
that's
one
how we
F.
spell this. It may only have one F.
I think there's one F and 2 M's.
Okay, then fine. So let's go
As
this
if
way.
that's going to make it.
I know.
It's not going to make any
She makes
difference.
a good point.
Lauren, what would you guess that word is right? That's a
man.
real street about 5 minutes from here.
Oh, it is.
That's
It's a
real
busy and
street.
it's a busy street.
And what's going to happen is you're going to be on the air one night,
Yeah.
and you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, they told me this word,"
They taught
because
me.
somebody's going to forget to tell you this. Just take a guess.
I'm going to go with something absurd or
This is gonna be good, Mackenzie.
like Pflumm.
Holy smokes!
Did I get it?
Holy smokes!
Okay, give this woman the key to the
She's
city.
got the job.
I think that's
She's
it.
call the mayor,
Yeah,
tell whoever.
it's done.
Lauren, you have absolutely
Wow, that
got
is
this.
a very interesting spelling for
Isn't
that.
that interesting?
Well, listen, the spelling could be
Wow.
wrong, but just know if you see a funny looking word that starts with a P, it's Pflumm.
It's Pflumm. Okay, cool.
I think we've covered pretty much everything when it
think
comes
we
to
did.
nuance.
I think so.
Well, welcome to
important.
our awesome city.
Thank you so
and
much.
for cruising by the radio stations. I mean, there's such a interesting dynamic when it comes to our local media here in Kansas City. I do remember, and one of the things and how we got such a great bond with Lauren and Brad, or not Lauren, you're Lauren, with Brad and Carolyn, was when all of the craziness happened at our parade downtown.
Yeah, the shooting and all that.
A year ago. I remember I had hit Carolyn up on Facebook that night, and I didn't expect to get a response back that quick, but it was instant. Like at 10:30, she gets done with the news. I was still up. We were all trying to figure out what's going on. She came on with us the very next day, and it was one of those things where the city needed voices that they've grown to trust and know and see. Yeah, and gosh, that's what you're stepping into, and man, I can't think of just a better person to have in our city behind that TV camera.
Thank you so much. So, and it is meaningful. I mean, that's part of, you feel that when you come here, just as far as the community is concerned. And I was talking to Brad about this, and it sounds, I don't know, I guess really idealistic, but the reality is that with all the places that I've lived, everybody's very in their own bubble, and you get it. It's pretty large cities, and it's go, go, go. Yeah. And one of the big appeals to me from when I first visited Kansas City that I never forgot how it made me feel was that everybody is so kind. People are very connected. They actually take the time to ask you how you're doing. They know their neighbors. Like, I was joking, but very serious. Like, I know my neighbors now. Yeah. I couldn't tell you that in any of the other places that I lived in. And I'm chatty Cathy, right? So like, what does that mean? So, I mean, this city is very expansive. It's growing a lot. And the folks really, I've loved the energy that everybody has brought. And when you talk about the media landscape as well, I'm very happy to meet both of you and, continue to kind of just make introductions, as I'm putting roots down here, and because you feel that. So that's really meaningful to hear that story. And I'm looking forward to being able to be part of it. I have a lot of gratitude right now.
In a world where it's all social media and fast, I think that, our city still connects to those that we see and hear. And I think that's important. So it's an open door anytime you want to cruise in, Lauren. Again, you can watch her 5, 6, and 10.
Yes.
And alternating on the weather show.
And alternating on the weather show at 6:30. Yep.
She's a busy person. Where can everyone follow and catch up and just say hey on social?
Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram. So that is at Lomags, LOMAGSS. That's like the nickname since I was 14.
Sure.
It's just, Twitter as well, and Facebook.
Perfect.
Okay, so I got a question. What do we call it? We still,
X.
every one of us.
Sorry.
It's X.
It's beat into me. Sorry.
I know.
But what is it? Is it still a tweet? Is it still, it's that whole thing?
You know what I say? I say a post.
A post.
Oh,
I'm just like,
look at that.
A post.
Keep it simple.
Well, Lauren, thank you again for cruising in today. That's our post-show podcast, Mackenzie. Catch her on KCTV5. Follow along on Instagram, everywhere. Lauren, thank you.
Thank you so much.